Next, we are going to see, actually we are doing this process. So we are going to do the operations on the drop down box. We are going to select an item from the drop down box. We have done it using 3 methods. And now we are going to count the items from the list. So how many items we have inside. Sometimes what happens is the client will ask you to ask the developer to upload 100 countries inside the drop down box. Okay, so
Okay.
what will happen is they will upload 100, but it will display only 95 or 98. Okay,
Mm.
so how do we verify that? So for that reason, we are going to use this coding. And again, next time, the client will ask you to upload another 100 elements or 100 items inside the same drop down box. What the developer will do is they will upload, but that 100 elements will get replaced by the new 100 elements because of their coding error. Do you understand the logic? These are the errors that might happen during the coding process. So they'll be having specific numbers for each and every element. What they will do is they will replace the code instead of appending the elements in the drop down list. They will replace the code. So what will happen is that old 100 elements will be replaced by the new 100 elements.
Okay, order or something will get changed.
Yes,
So if we
order,
put in,
and they will be having some code for that each element inside the database. They'll be having some
okay,
numbers for each and every cell. So it will display inside the drop down list. But if I try to select the item, it will not select. Why? Because the database, because of the database problem also, it might happen. Okay,
mm,
so in that condition and all, you need to check every drop down box every time when we execute a drop down box, whether this is the first time execution or this is a regression testing or sanity testing, whatever functionality we are doing for a drop down box, we are going to get the count of the drop down box also. We'll be selecting the elements as well as we'll be getting the count of the elements. So that we can ensure that the 200 elements are available or not, because we can't manually go and count the elements every time. They will be go on updating each and every element, right? So that the mistake might happen. So for that thing, we are going to get the count also. Okay. So, okay. So this is what our official website. So I want to explain something. So that for that reason I am showing this. So what is, already I have told you about web element. So web element is a class, right? So web element is nothing but the element details are present inside the class. So if I want to shorten the URL, I want to store only the locator information, means I'll be mentioning that web element and object name inside this, and I'll be storing all these options. Inside the web element class, I have a subclass called list. It is a library, list library. So this list library is used for getting the count of multiple elements. So if I want to get the count, I'll be using this list library. So if I want to count the number of rows, or if I want to count the number of columns, or number of data inside the table, or number of items inside the drop down box, anything related to counting, all the functionalities or the methods will be available inside this list library. Okay, so this list library is the sub library of web element. You understand that? So that is the reason we are mentioning in this format.
okay,
Okay, for this alone, only for, because these methods, get options, size, these methods are available only inside this library. So this is the main library, and this is the sub library of web element. So it will directly go to the list library, and if I mention get options of, it will go and check whether that method is available in this library, and it will display the result. Okay, so for
okay.
that reason, for counting options, we will be using this library. So if you have any doubts related to methods and all, you can go for this official website, selenium.dev website. it will direct you to the website. You can get all the informations related to. See, here they have mentioned it. List of web element. For getting the elements details, we can use this format. They have mentioned it, but that's what now they are given in the format of programs. But before and all, what they did is they will just mention the method information alone. They will not explain it using programs. Now they have explained it using the program itself. So you can just copy paste this and you can try and run executing these programs also. If you want to execute something, you can try these programs also. It will be very helpful. If you want to run using Python, you can use this code. If it is based on Java, you can use this code. Okay, so I want to just show you only this for that reason. So list web element is nothing but the element. Web element is a class and list is the library or subclass which is inside the web element. You are going to create an object and you are going to mention that. Here what we are going to do is we are going to get the options first. So what is mean by options? We are going to get all the details about these elements inside the drop down box. So what is the difference between getting all the properties and getting a specific property? So what the get options will do is it will get all the details about that drop down elements, not only the type, not only the name, not only the value, everything it will get options will get all the details, but out of that all the elements will be stored inside the object. So I need only the size of the options. Out of all the properties, I need only the size. So I'm just mentioning that object name dot size of, and I'm going to store all the elements inside a variable called items count. If I print it out, it will only display me the size, number of elements present inside the drop down box. So that is the thing we are going to use. So get an options will get all the details about that object. Our object is, what is our object? Our object is the drop down box. So drop down box elements, because I have given this object name, drop down dot get options of. So drop down dot get options of will get all the details about the drop down box and it will get stored in the name called E, which is your object name. You can have any name here, and E dot size of will get only the count of the elements inside the drop down box, and that is actually a value, that is a single value. So I'm going to store it inside a data type called integer, and I'm going to store it inside a variable called items count, and it will be printed. We are going to print out. We will list element. So get options of, and in that get options I'm going to get only the Dropbox count equal to D is my object name dot size of. So here it shows an error, so just click on that. You need to import the list. So here we see that we have two things, java.awt and java.util. So whenever you have these two options, you need to use only java.utility file. Okay, why? Because this will be more supportive when compared to AWT. For Selenium, it will support only util option. If you have anything related to Selenium means you can click on Selenium, but this list is based on Java. So we are going to click on Java utility. And again, I'm going to import web element also. So in our previous program, we imported web element. Here we are going to import, because these are different classes. So this is one class, and inside this we have a separate utility file. So for that reason, we have imported two things. So this is a Java utility file. This is from Selenium web element. So Everything is done. So now what we are going to do is system dot out dot println of Dropbox count. Just save, and we are going to okay, it's selected open. See, we have only 7 items inside the list.
Hmm.
Okay, so just it displays the number 7. If you want, you can just give the number of elements inside the drop down box, or number of elements or number of items. Then you can mention the number also. So as of now, I'm just displaying only the number, which is 7. So this is what the drop down box is. So mostly for drop down box, we will be selecting the element and we will be counting the number of elements in the drop down box. These two functionalities only we will be testing for this drop down boxes.